Yo, what is up guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over a few things that I would like to see added to Rainbow Six Siege. I just want to preface this video and say, none of this is real, none of this is confirmed, and definitely none of this is balanced. These are just things that I, a Siege addict with way too much time on my hands, would like to see added to the game. So before you guys cook me in the comments, just chill out, this is just for fun. Anyway, let's get into it. One thing I'd really like to see added to Siege is improved breach charges. So, as of now, the way the game works, if you put breach charges up on a soft wall, you're able to put it up. It's meant to be there so it can explode the soft wall and it goes up, right? But if you try to put a breach charge up on anything else, you'll notice that your character can't do it. And I've always kind of wondered why. I've always thought this was a bit silly. Like, I understand that that's not exactly what they're used for, right? They're used for soft breaches. You don't need them most of the time for like a random hard wall. I would like to see that implemented into the game. Just imagine that you could put them on any flat surface, like right next to a bulletproof cam or next to a shield on the floor or on the wall next to a Malusi or something like that. I guess Malusi is not really a good example since if you're close enough to put a breach charge, you could probably just shoot it, but I'm sure it could be used for other things like traps and setting up funny little plays. Like it would just open up a wider ability to do different things. If you were to try and put them near a bulletproof cam or something like that, then it would require a little bit of danger, right? You would have to put yourself in a dangerous spot in order to achieve it. So I think that would help balance it out itself. Also, I do have a change for bulletproof cams, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'd also like to see an option to remote detonate multiple breach charges at once. I know that the Siege community has talked about this a lot and a lot of people have brought this up, but I understand that it could be a little bit difficult to implement because of console restrictions. They don't have as many keys as a keyboard player does. They already have trouble with organizing some of the buttons, like the leaning. Like if you're on console, you can't lean unless you're aimed, because otherwise the lean button is used as a melee. So they're already juggling the buttons around. So I can understand why that would be an issue that they would have to figure out, and a possible reason why it hasn't been implemented already. I don't have a solution for this one. I don't really think I don't really know how they could work around this, but maybe a possible gadget or something like that that specifically works this way, like an operator that brings in C4 specifically, because C4 would be a different gadget. So I guess that would make sense if they found a way to make it work to implement it as a different gadget than to change all breach charges. But if they were to change my first change that I had brought up earlier, like the breach charges going on like hard walls, I think that this could be used in tandem with that to really just change up the game a lot and just leave a lot of room for different types of plays to be made, I guess. On to my next change though, I have been thinking about Dokkaebi and the way that her call works. And I think that when you're dead, you don't really get to just hang up the phone in order to use cams or anything like that. When Dokkaebi calls, the way it currently works is all of the characters get called, all the cameras are on a 30-second timer, and you just have to kind of wait it out before you can actually use your cameras again in order to scan things. But I would like them to change it so that if all of the alive operators hang up their phones, then the dead operators on cams would be able to start using cams again. That way the decision to hang up cams as an alive player isn't just, do I just listen to this and suffer with the sound being exposed, or do I hang this up for myself? It now becomes those two, and on top of it, if I can get my whole team to hang up, then we can get cams earlier, which won't always be super important. But if you have somebody that's on cams that's trying to actually get information, and then all of a sudden the information is killed because of a Dokkaebi, that could inspire some team play and get people to think a little bit more about the game and the characters. I think it's a little bit of a complicated change, and I could see why it wouldn't be added, but it just adds a little bit of layer complexity, I guess is the word. It's complex, right? It becomes more complex. So I could see why they would avoid that to make the game a little bit more friendly to new players. But little things like that are what keep a game like this with having such a difference in skill gap. So I kind of like having that. I like having the option to win because you knew something that the other team didn't, or took advantage of something very small like that. That doesn't always shine, but sometimes gets the chance to shine. And I think little moments like that are kind of what people live for in a game like this. If you guys agree, let me know. I feel like I might be kind of missing the plot here a bit. But now on to my next one. This is back to the bulletproof camera that I was talking about. I would like to see bulletproof cams and shields could change in a way where instead of it being a one-hit melee and the glass breaks, even for mirrors as well, I think mirrors, it's a little bit broken to just have your glass broken in one shot. I understand that you want to have a quick way to disable these things, but I also feel that sometimes it's a little bit unfair. You don't have a chance to defend your gear, basically. So my change would be that all of these glass objects like mirrors and shields and bulletproof cams would actually take 2 or 3 hits to destroy. And with the breach charge change that I recommended before, if they added that as well, that would make it so that you could just you have the choice of either hitting something 3 times, similar to a door, to destroy it, or you could just use a breach charge to get it over with quicker, right? Adding that extra layer of thought that has to be put into every action. And I think it would also make sense that you have a chance to defend your gear a little bit, because some situations you don't even get a chance. People just walk up and punch. I think that also like sledgehammer, for example, like that could be an exception. Like that's something that would still be able to one-shot hit melee. But I just think some people don't need to be able to one-shot melee. Like if you already have an Ash running in sight, they shouldn't be able to just one-shot everything. They should use their breach charge to decide which gear they want to take out. That way they actually have to think a little bit harder about what they're doing. They can't just run in and punch all the bulletproof cams and destroy all the mirrors and get it all over with. Even if they die, they've destroyed so much utility that it's like it slows down the enemy team, you know what I mean? They should be punished for that, right? They need to think about what they're doing. And I think that this would inspire a little bit more thought into some people's games. I would also like to see a new game modes be added. Now, I know that this is something that a lot of people talk about, but when I say new game modes, I don't expect every single game mode to always be a complete reskin of one of the maps and complete reskins for all the characters and all of this. I understand that they do that to sell a lot of skins and a lot of equipment, so like they have to have like a theme in order to sell these things. But I would also just like to see a lot more like casual game modes. Like when they added free for all, like I've been playing a lot of free for all recently on my stream, trying to grind out a badge for the gun badges. If you guys want to watch that, I'm live every single morning playing that at 7 a.m. Eastern. But they haven't added much else. Like, there's not much else gameplay. Like, there's not much else normal vanilla gameplay, game modes. It's just pretty much ranked, unranked, deathmatch, and versus AI. And I would like to see, like, more, like, silly custom games, like one-shot modes and secondary only and, like, silly type of game modes like that really don't take much effort to create. They could just like add them in, and just tweak a few game rules. And like even like the layer 24/7 thing, when they were doing that for a while, like having like one custom match like rotating, where it's like one day it's like this map, one day it's this map, one day it's that map, and it's always like just a casual mode. Like even something like that, like very small changes like to like the game to just keep it fresh, because right now, it gets pretty boring just queuing quick play over and over again. I think that's why a lot of people are resorting to hacking, because they're just getting so bored with the game. They're just getting so tired of just like playing the same game over and over again. And I think that changing up some game modes and like just keeping things fresh as much as possible is like a really good way to just keep the community engaged. Otherwise, they just start thinking of like easier ways to just enjoy their time, which a lot of them will kind of result in hacking. Which, on that note, I think Siege could definitely use an anti-cheat update, but I don't know what they can do at this point, really. Like, the hackers are just like running rampant. I don't know what exactly is going on. I heard some talk about possibly about banned accounts on like PlayStation or something have to pay to get appeals or something. And I don't know. There was some sort of conspiracy theory I was hearing from some of my randoms in some of my streams. I don't know exactly what they were talking about, but maybe that's why. Maybe there's like a money incentive for them to keep hacking in the game. Who knows? I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theory here, but the Siege anti-cheat could definitely be changed for sure. I'd also like, back on that topic of the fun game modes, another one that I think would be really, really fun is like just silly things like no prep mode. So like basically there's no drone phase, and like you still spawn with 2 drones, so you could use your drone in the normal match, but there's no prep phase, and maybe bring it up to 4 minutes so that it's a longer match and like you do have a chance to prep. But you could also just run in if you want. You know, it's just little tweaks would keep the game so alive and feeling more like it's got some more heart in it. It doesn't always have to be something crazy like the showdown mode. You know, like we waited months for the same game to come out, and it's like because they're working on more skins and they're working on all these drops, and it's like you can just release like small game modes and people will still enjoy them. They don't have to always be this like grand like thing that, you know, like every time with like, its own map and like, you know, all these different characters. Like it doesn't always have to be that way. They can just release like smaller changes and smaller game modes, and I think people would really like that. The ideas that I've got for today, if you guys liked this type of video, make sure to let me know in the description, and I'm also just going to pass it on to you guys. Like, what do you guys think should be added to Siege X, and what do you guys think of some of these ideas? Like, how would you tweak them to make them more fair and more balanced, or would you push them to the extreme and make things more OP? Either way, let me know what you guys think, and I'll be excited to see some of your guys' ideas as well. If any of this actually gets added, I don't even know, but like, you guys owe me some credit. And if you guys enjoyed this kind of video, let me know for sure. I'd be totally willing to make more content like this where I just kind of sit in front of a mic and talk. Usually my stream is filled with gameplay and, you know, clips. So if you guys just want to watch me real raw and unedited, just check me out over there and we go live on YouTube and Kick and Twitch. And 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. we do 2 different streams. Usually right now what I'm doing is some just grinding and just like some free-for-all badge challenges in the morning, and in the evening we do some custom games with viewers. So if you guys want to play and have a chat, make sure to check out the description for all of my links. That being said, I appreciate you guys stopping by and enjoying the video. If you made it this far, smash like and subscribe. Goodbye. Still just there? What?
2 minutes. Dual kill. Triple kill.
Always stop doubting, you know? If you like, no, there's no way that'll happen. It'll happen, trust me. Also, what was that movement tech, bro?
Elimination.
Nope. I don't think. To be fair, play I've ever seen in my life.
Hostiles are at the 50% mark. Stay focused. Wandered away from your target. Focused. You've wandered away from your target. 5 consecutive eliminations. 2 minutes remaining.